think this was last week, right? Yeah. Hypersonic missile that was launched by China. They deny it, but we'll get to that in a moment. But this is a missile that can be launched and can go undetected and can land literally anywhere, okay? And what's the response? Well, the United States just appointed the first ever 4-star admiral who just happens to be a female. So that's the way that the West has responded to this, and this is fucking insane, dude. U.S. ambassador, we just don't know how to defend against possible Chinese hypersonic missile. That's great news. That's really great news. Why are they doing this right now? A new investigative report by the Financial Times asserted that China launched a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile, which circled the Earth in a low orbit before cruising towards and narrowly missing a test target. The Chinese regime has officially denied the report's findings, saying that the object in question was a spaceship. Fuck off. Spaceship, right? A dick-shaped spaceship. Gotcha. U.S. disarmament, Ambassador Robert Wood. That is a strong name if I've ever read it. Said the Washington is concerned about China's possible deployment of hypersonic weaponry, and the United States hasn't developed a means of countering it. But have you seen our array of transgendered military personnel? It's fucking awesome. We're so diverse. Fuck off. China denies, yes, hypersonic missile test. It was a spaceship. Don't worry about it. Biden's White House welcomes stiff competition. Stiff competition. A strike that can literally happen at a moment's notice. Stiff competition. Chinese Foreign Ministry on Monday denied reports that stunned U.S. intelligence analysts by testing a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in August, while the Biden White House responded to the report by saying that it welcomes stiff competition from the People's Republic of China. A report on Saturday said the U.S. intelligence community was taken by surprise. We welcome competition. We had no idea that you had that, okay? That would be playing a game. That would be exactly like playing a game of pickup basketball against Shaq, knowing that you're going to get dunked on, and then he just steps back and fucking drains a 15-footer. It's like, what? But don't worry, China's not nearly strong enough to be compared to Shaq at this day and age, okay? Kind of like the later days of Yao Ming, if we're going to be fair. Hypersonic vehicles use low-altitude maneuvers at very high speeds to evade tracking systems and interceptors. That's what makes this so frightening. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Linjiang. I don't think that's right, but nor do I care about what this commie thinks. On Monday, that the test described in the Saturday report was actually a routine experiment with peaceful spacecraft technology, not a weapons test. Okay, pal, like we believe anything that comes out of China? This test was a routine spacecraft experiment to verify the reusable technology of spacecraft. That's a sentence. Which is of great significance for reducing the cost of the spacecraft use. It can provide a convenient and cheap way for humans to use space peacefully. You don't care about any of that stuff, okay? Unless you're just trying to fire Uyghur Muslims into the sun. Many companies in the world have carried out similar experiments. Oh, everybody else has done it, so therefore we can do it. But you know what? I'm not terribly concerned by this because I've been keeping a close eye on what China's been doing. I've been waiting for this moment. Waiting a long time to be dropping this information because, yeah, as much as these reports come out, new index highlights China's expanding military capabilities. Why are they doing this right now? Okay, listen, it would be a good time to attack America, okay? I'm not recommending it, okay? And I don't want to see it happen for as much as I'd love to see the people who are in power suffer because of it, and a multitude of reasons behind it, but China's in deep shit, guys, okay? And you need to know this type of stuff because China's third quarter economic growth slows to 4.9% amid power crunch and property woes, as well as their infrastructure just absolutely fucking sucking, okay? Like, you might think that you live in a really shitty neighborhood, but I don't think you have a hydroelectric dam, which is probably a couple of rainfall seasons away from completely and utterly falling the fuck apart and killing like 400,000 people. I don't think you're anywhere near that bad if you have a couple of rough sidewalks or maybe a few potholes in the road. Like, China's in a bad way, and this shipping crisis that's going on right now greatly affects them as well, because hopefully, optimistically, this spurns more or more countries, more good countries, if we're just going to put like bad countries as communist countries, it's going to put them out of work because hopefully they'll start doing some manufacturing on their own home soil. That's just, again, me being a little bit too optimistic. Maybe, I don't know if anybody will heed the warning on this one, but this could be something that could definitely affect China, who is doing all of the manufacturing, okay? They're the ones shipping all those goods over to the Port of Los Angeles and having them queue up for fucking weeks on end. But then, okay, if a big manufacturing influx happens, they're going to have to start getting raw materials, which they don't really have access to right now, okay? Not readily. And this is why there's economic stagnation over there. And this is why I'm not terribly concerned by China. They're still the biggest threat out there, but what else? But the number one with a bullet, the biggest threat, it's domestic, okay? The foreign you should always be paying attention to, but what's at home, what's right in front of you, that's the biggest concern right now. China's economy recorded slower than expected growth in the third quarter as the country grapples with a worsening energy crisis and property woes. The latest data released by China's National Bureau of Statistics, I'd believe anything they have to say, on October 18th showed the year-on-year gross domestic product growth in the third quarter hit a year low at 4.9%, slowing from 7.9% in the second quarter. That's quite a fucking drop. The world's second largest economy had staged a much touted rebound from last year's pandemic slump, but the recovery has lost steam from a blistering 18.3% growth clocked in the first quarter. Yeah, quite a fucking drop. 18.3%. Pretty fucking good, but you were also welding people in their houses, so maybe those numbers were just slightly inflated once you let them out, okay, if they were still alive. And then now, 4.9% over the course of a fiscal year? That sucks. There's no two ways about that. I don't know, man. If you're in China and you're paying attention to those numbers, make sure the next time you go to the ballot box, your vote reflect. Oh, wait. Many analysts revised down their projections for China's economic growth this year due to concerns about the risk arising from debt-saddled Evergrande, power cuts, supply chain disruptions, and regulatory crackdowns on sectors from tech to poverty. However, the slowdown in the July to September quarters is still sharper than expected. You really do hate to see it. And also, yeah, the power crunch fuel an increase in prices around the world. So fewer things are going to be bought from these manufacturing plants because they just can't be afforded at the same clip. So that's going to lead to less economic growth in the long term for China. Another reason why it's all right. It's all right. Just don't have to worry so much about China. Still, keep them back in mind. They just don't need to be front and center because they're in the late stage throw of things, okay? Because you got stories like this as well. China's Apple Store deletes all Bible and Quran apps. Is this the move of a country that's in a strong position, okay? Would they get rid of any sort of spiritual growth options if they were in good standing? It's also something that Canada's, pretty good at, restricting limits on churches for no good fucking reason, but hey, we're here. Makers of apps that allow users to read and listen to the Bible and the Quran, including Amazon's Audible. Oh, okay, so it's the Apple Store and it's Amazon at the same time capitulating to China. Note that, announced Friday that they had removed such apps from China's Apple Store, citing Chinese government permit requirements. The Bible app developed based in Spokane, Washington, named Olive Tree Bible Software, said it removed its app from China stores after learning Apple's App Store review process that it needed special permission to distribute the app with book or magazine content. And Olive Tree Bible Software said it is currently reviewing the steps it takes to obtain the newly required permit, with hope that it could be allowed back in the App Store on China's App Store and continue to distribute the Bible worldwide. Not fucking likely, okay? Because they're also doing something that led to the downfall of the last. Well, not really, okay, because the Soviet Union was still around for a long time, but just to draw parallels with Nazi Germany, by the way. The last time that they were conducting mass medical experiments and organ harvesting and doing all that kind of fun stuff, that led to their swift collapse. So again, this isn't the action of a strong country, okay? These motherfuckers, there's a lot of inner turmoil right now. So okay, this is couched in the Korean Netflix hit. I don't know really what it is. I know roughly what it is, but Squid Game, you've probably heard of it at this point. It's literally the biggest series that Netflix has ever put out. They'll take your liver and you won't even know. Wow, if they can take your liver and you don't even know, that's incredible. China's real-life Squid Game. How organs are harvested from thousands every week for a kill-to-order market, and why the world is powerless to stop it, just like the Holocaust. Since it first hit Netflix, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Last month, South Korean horror series, it's just an action thriller with a whole bunch of violence. Squid Game has captivated audiences in over 90 countries, quickly becoming the most watched international show on the streaming platform. While the Asian drama is obviously fictitious, it's also very Korean. And a pointed critique of modern life. One of the show's side plots where human beings have their organs harvested and sold is very real. I like the way you work in an actual real story. China's Communist Party removes hearts, kidneys, livers, and corneas, for 100,000 dissidents and political prisoners every year, with a government-run kill-to-order organ trafficking network operating on a grand scale, human rights groups claim. But the international community remains powerless to stop the slaughter because the World Health Organization is compelled to accept the totalitarian nation's inadequate and misleading hospital data without question. Yeah, the WHO, who makes all of the guidelines that your government follows without fucking question, allows organ harvesting to happen right in front of their face because China pays their fucking bills. 9 UN special reporters, sure, from the Human Rights Council spent over a year unearthing witness testimony and examining China's highly suspicious organ donor rates to shed new light on the terrifying kill-to-order market. UN human rights experts said today that we're extremely alarmed by the reports of alleged organ harvesting targeting minorities, including Falun Gong practitioners, Uyghurs, Tibetans, Muslims, and Christians in detention in China. The statement said, notice something very familiar there? You got Uyghurs, Muslims, Christians. You just banned the Bible and the Quran online. Oh, okay, cool. They have received credible information that detainees may be forcibly subjected to blood tests. Government-mandated tests? Wow, who would be tyrannical enough to do that? While other prisoners are not required to undergo such examinations. Again, imagine that. Wow, what a tyrannical government to be doing that. Nobody else around the world, just China, right? The results of the examinations are reportedly registered in a database of living organ sources that facilitate organ allocation. According to the allegations received, the most common organs removed from the prisoners are reportedly hearts. Oh, how would you do that and keep somebody alive? Oh, kidneys, livers, corneas. Oh, and less commonly, parts of livers. Yeah, normally, if you're just going to go in there and fucking take a part of the liver, why not get the whole thing? The grim statement also points out forms of alleged trafficking relies heavily on skilled healthcare workers sworn to protect their patients. This is getting too creepy even for me. Including surgeons, anesthesiologists, sure, and other medical specialists, as well as participation from various public sector professionals. Yep. Some prisoners receive death threats and threats of organ harvesting from the police if they do not renounce their beliefs and refuse to cooperate with the police. And even if they do, maybe just for fun. One of the red flags with China's organ transplant system is a recipient can book surgeries at specific times and locations. So it's literally like fast food, but for organs. Under an ethical process approved by the WHO, the deceased organs will be matched with the most urgent patient on a transplant list that just happen to be friends and family members of party officials. It's just weird how that works. For many desperate people, it can take years to receive transplant surgery, as recipients must be the same blood type and the deceased, and they have the same sized organ. But undercover phone calls made to Chinese hospitals as a part of the independent China Tribunal hearings in 2019 show how fast patients can get surgery under a kill-to-order system. So yeah, man, they benefit highly off of this. And again, like I gotta say, are these the actions of a strong nation? Or is this the actions of a nation that's just flailing around trying to maintain its position at the top? You can level as many criticisms as you want at the Biden administration. I just don't think right now, outside of maybe scalping a couple of kids or two to just put a little fucking pocket follicle in there for just, at emergency sniffing usage, I don't think that they're doing anything on this grand of a scale. China's in trouble. They won't let you see it, but you just got to follow the news close enough. We're going to talk about Trump next, so we're going from China to number 45 and number 47. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.